Everybody, welcome to Cycle News. Another new road test for you today. Check this thing out behind me, this handsome looking motorcycle. This is the 2026 Suzuki GSX-8TT. Now I've got to be a bit slow in saying that because it's not that easy to get out. It's actually one of two models. You also get the GSX-8T, which doesn't come with your really beautiful bikini style retro GS1000 early 80s front fairing design, which I just love with that beautiful big round headlight. I just think it is the coolest looking design. This one will retail for $11,149, whereas the naked bike will set you back $10,649. Now, before we get started, I know everyone's freaking out about tariffs and all that kind of stuff. I just got off the phone from Suzuki. And as of right now, as of the 1st of October, when this, 1st of October 2025, as this video is being filmed, there are no tariffs being put on this particular platform from Suzuki. Happy days, but as we all know, that's probably going to change. We don't know yet, but there's a very high chance that it'll change. So if you were to sort of look at the $11,149, you know, give or take, 12.5 grand-ish is what you could probably expect to get this bike in your garage, all things all done, all sold. Okay, moving on. So the retro game now isn't exactly a new game really for naked bikes, especially in the sub 1000cc category. There's been the leaders of the game, Yamaha's XSR series, the 700 and the 900, BMW with their R9Ts, for example. There's a big range of Kawasaki with their 900 RS, which I just is one of my all-time favorite bikes. Fantastic motorcycle. So Suzuki's pretty late in the game to the retro scene. As you can tell, the bike is very much inspired by the GS1000 from the early 1980s that the legend, the late great Wes Cooley rode to innumerable wins in superbike racing here in North America, basically characterized by that big all-round headlight and that bikini style fairing and retro kind of style of the tank, also the seat, gold wheels. Oh yeah, love a gold wheel. Yeah, so styling wise, I feel like Suzuki's really knocked this one out of the park. Like, it's a really, really good looking motorcycle. Really nice paint as well, like that metallic green paint and these little stripes here, I think just looks real good. So Suzuki's done exceptionally well there. Powering this bike is the 776cc parallel twin that you're going to find in your GSX-8R that we tested back in 2022 or 23, can't remember. GSX-8S as well. So what you're going to get 82 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 57.5 pounds-feet of torque at 6,800 RPM. 445 pounds curb weight Suzuki's claiming for the 8TT. Now, a couple of interesting things is the tank is a different shape and therefore it is also a different capacity. So when you get your GSX-8R and your S, those bikes come with 3.7 gallons, whereas this bike comes with 4.3 gallons. Also, you've got a slightly different trail as well on the front end, 4.1 inches for the TT versus 3.7 for the bike it's derived from in the sportier GSX-8R and S. So there you go. Now, just like the GSX-S 1000, that we tested a couple of weeks ago against the Honda CB1000. Suzuki has done really well with this little parallel twin in terms of navigating the emissions laws that we've got to get through to be able to sell an internal combustion engine here in the United States. There isn't too much of a flat spot at low RPM. It drives really nicely. You've got really nice mid-range torque. It does really begin to flatten off once you get to about sort of 8,000, 7,000 RPM. The bike, you can feel the bike surging and then it just goes and it just tapers off, but it still produces really good, I hate this term, real world performance, which is the kind of performance that you're going to need on the street, really. Like low to mid-range torque, this engine is really good.
As far as electronics go, you get your quick shifter, you get front and rear ABS, you get 3 riding modes with the Suzuki Drive Mode Select, A, B and C. As you can see at the moment, I am in level A. You also get 3 stages plus off on your traction control, no IMU or any of that stuff, so no cornering ABS, no cornering traction control, all that stuff. That obviously has a bit of an effect with the price, brings it down a little bit more. No cruise control, which I think is a little bit of a bummer with this bike considering the price and the fact that it is a bike that you could very easily tour on. This is very comfortable, long days in the saddle wouldn't be a drama at all. That little screen here at the front, it actually does more than what you think. Like at the moment, I mean, just we're in traffic at the moment, so nothing really, not going to do anything at all. But when you get out on the freeway, it's not too bad. Like it does manage to send a bit of the wind blast away from away from my head. So look, it's good and it looks very, very handsome. I think that part of the bike is real cool. I love that whole front end cowl. I think it looks rad.
It's not vibey at all. It's got such a lovely, smooth delivery. It's almost a little boring, because and I know that's just like a bit of a cheap shot, but it doesn't have a lot of character, that motor. It's so smooth and so polite in how it goes about its business. It doesn't have a lot of character. But you know, if I were buying one of these things, the first thing I would do is put an exhaust on it. But the problem with that is with this muffler, if you can't really put an exhaust on it because you're going to delete the catalytic converter straight away and then the bike becomes illegal on the road. And look, a lot of guys ride without catalytic converters, it doesn't really matter. But it would be nice to give the engine a bit more personality, a little bit more punchiness, because it is extremely good and extremely efficient at what it does. It's just needs a bit more personality. As for suspension, you get an unadjustable fork, which is a bit of a bummer considering the price of, you know, over 11 grand. I would expect at least preload adjustment. And on the shock, you do get preload adjustment, but the spring is real soft. We've jacked up the preload a fair bit on this bike just to try and keep the thing from sitting like a, you know, chopper almost. But I'm probably a little heavier than what the target rider is for this bike, I'd say. But for general cruising and easy riding and things like that, the suspension is pretty good. You will get a bit of a sort of harsh shock especially through the front end when you hit sort of big nasty potholes and things like that. Like it really does give you a bit of a oof from the front end, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is a pretty bargain basement fork, I've got to say. If you're just cruising along and just nice, easy, happy little riding, look, it's fine. It's only when you really start to push it that you'll begin to pretty quickly actually get to the limit of that fork. On the braking side of things, you get Nissan 4-piston radial calipers, good brakes. The master cylinder is nothing to write home about, but it actually performs pretty well. Like you get decent amount of feel and good power. Again, not hugely up-spec'd items there, but for the given premise of the motorcycle, I think they seem to work quite well. Now, when I was talking before about the lack of cruise control, the reason I say it's a bit of a bummer for that is because this is a bike, considering the 31.9 inch seat height, the wider seat, relatively or very comfortable ergonomics with the bar position and all that little screen, which does a lot more than what you think it would. It's a very effective little screen, that. I could go touring on this thing, no problem. And you know, I think a lot of people would like to take something like this and go for a longer ride. I would have liked cruise control for 11 grand. Yeah, I can sit here and bitch about it because I'm not going to buy the bike. And those guys out there that would like to buy the bike, I think you should be getting more for your money from Suzuki. I also think you should be getting an adjustable fork, but that's just me. So please don't shoot the messenger, guys. I'm just trying to get you guys more value for money. Now, as I said before, this bike is really jumping in at the deep end as far as the competition goes. So I'm going to read this off because I can't memorize it. So $8,999 for the XSR 700, which is a twin-cylinder bike, pumps out 74 horsepower. $10,599, which is still less than what this thing costs, for the XSR 900 three-cylinder bike, and that comes with 117 horsepower. So that's something that you got to bear in mind as well. Now, if you want to get a bit more modern, you can start looking at the $13,499 Ducati Monster. That's going to give you 111 horsepower from the 900 odd cc V twin. Bear in mind all these prices are before you start throwing tariffs, fees and blah, blah, blah. So take it with a grain of salt. Also too, if you wanted to look at Aprilia, you can start looking at the Tuono 660, their twin cylinder bike, which has 105 horsepower. That comes in two versions, at 11,499 for the base one and 13,499 for the factory. And if you really want to push the boat out, you could even look at something like the BMW F900R. Now that bike we tested a little while ago. We didn't do a video on it, but we'll put a link to that in the description. That cost you $8,995, although I tend to think the Suzuki will outperform it pretty much everywhere. So as a result, you do have a lot of choice if you wanted to get in there and have a look at your retro market. But I've got to say, man, I think this is definitely one of the better looking ones. That front end does something for me. I love old school superbikes, and it really reminds me of the old GS 1000 days of Wes Cooley and the boys. I personally love the look of it. It rides really well. It's lacking a few things in terms of spec, but still, in my opinion, a really, really good bike from Suzuki. Okay guys, that's a quick wrap up for the GSX-8TT. Now, if you like this, please give us a comment down below. As always, I'll do my very best to get back to you. Give us a like and subscribe. Keep a rubber side down. We'll see you next time. Cheers.